Thanks, Marshall. Oh, we're up to 120 participants. That's more than I was expecting because right now there's an ARIES conference going on. But I guess we're still going to get a lot of folks. So welcome everyone to today's Q&A. My name's Gary Gerl. I'm a data analyst with CSIS supporting CALPADS. Driving for us today is Paul Higgins. And so as you watch the screen, he'll be bringing up documentation as we try to come up with answers for your questions. I don't have a lot of announcements other than the deadline for Fall 2 is still this Friday. So 3 days or 2 days now, I guess if you don't count the rest of today. And there is no amendment window to that. So please continue to work on your Fall 2s if you have not LA approved. We're doing fairly well. I think we're up to 70% done now, maybe even a little bit more. And a lot are getting done now that we've gotten rid of some of the errors that we were having with the course data. And that's all I have for announcements. Martha, Angela, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, Paul, could you navigate to CALPADS and the active and resolved known issues? You have an old copy. There you go. It's up to date as of 2 o'clock, and so it has all the fixes that have been going in. We didn't have a release go in yesterday. We typically don't during a deadline week, but we did have a few patches go in Thursday night and yesterday and this morning. I'm losing track. Little pieces are getting patched up here and there, but they're all reflected on that report now. And Marshall, can you work with Matt to help him make sure his mic is unmuted? We are a little bit short-staffed today because of the ARIES conference. We have some staff there, and I believe Brandy is there as well.
Brandy's on vacation.
She was at the conference. She texted me a picture from there.
I think somebody sent it to her.
Oh, okay.
I think. She's in Texas. She's supposed to be.
Ah.
Okay, so it looks like our first question is at 301 from Dominic. Question is, for SPED exits, SEIS has reported that code 85 moved out of state has been removed and will cause the SPED 371 error. Is this an IVR or a CDD? In other words, do LAAs need to resubmit exit transactions that have a code 85 with a different code?
When you submit a valid code, that is an IVR. We will catch that on input, and it's usually a GER2. So 371, what does that do? So if we do catch it on input, yeah, the whole thing fails. So you have to go back, fix it, or take the record out so that you could submit again. 371 is also a
85 was never actually implemented. It was talked about, but we never actually got it into the system.
So it's not a valid code.
It's not a valid code.
So does that answer your question, Dominic? If you try to submit it, I think you'll get a GER2 and not a SPED 371.
An invalid value.
And Eugenie has a additional information right down the chat there, maybe definitely related to this one.
Oh, yeah, at 306, Eugenie has as Joe says, SEIS has a handout regarding the code 85 and that they should use code 70 at the bottom of that handout. Thanks, Eugenie. Okay, next question, Q1 from Melissa. We have a student that has a special ed exit date record in CALPADS from 2019. The student is still showing as SPED in TOMS for testing. Any ideas on how to fix the issue in TOMS? Probably need to contact TOMS support if the student is definitely showing the valid SPED exit record and there's no more records after 2019. I wouldn't expect a student to still show a SPED in TOMS.
I mean, if you want us to look at the ID to see if we can see of anything before you call TOMS.
Q1 from Russell is Russell's getting 277 SCSE 139 missing course section record warnings. When you checked a few of the records, the course section records are in CALPADS. Is this being reported as a warning due to the CALPADS issue? There was an issue in the past, and it was one of the reasons that this was converted to a warning. A lot of times those clear up with new revisions, especially if you check and you do find that the course section is there and it matches the student course section and there's no valid reason for that error. I find usually they kind of clear up. You'll see a whole bunch and then they'll all of a sudden just clear up with a new revision. And I'm not sure if we know why they appear and then disappear like that.
Sometimes during my troubleshooting, you would want to make sure that the academic year term is the same, because that's normally what my LAs get tripped up on. Sometimes they have FY instead. SCSC has an S1, so you may want to check on those attributes. In the user manual, if you search for the error, it should show you the list of fields that you need to match up.
Good point. And that reminded me, I did have one that they had a significant number, and for some reason or somehow, their course section records, when I pulled them out in an extract for the academic term, it just had Y instead of FY, and Y isn't even a valid value. So I'm not exactly sure how that got in there, but in their student course section records, they had FY, and that's what the problem was. So then they just re-uploaded their course section with the FY and it cleared the error. So as Karen said, definitely something to check into. Q1 from Audrey. As I understand it, SELPAs are not currently able to request SSID extracts for specific districts. When I attempt from either the district or SELPA level, I get an error message. You do not have the roles required to view this data. Unfortunately, as part of our role reviewing data for this extract can provide us with unique information about the SPED students not on the district's radar. Is there any way SELPAs can get access to run these extracts? Didn't we have something in the works with possibly future?
Part of running extracts, you have to have the edit view. And so it could be that we have to change the way CALPADS allows access to those extracts. We've had other people inquire about even getting an ODS extract, not just the SSID extract. So it's in our queue to discuss as an enhancement to make the extracts be CNR view for the SSID extract, and the ODS is whatever file type it is. But SPED people are only really interested in the SSID, I think. So we're working on it. We don't have it in place yet, Audrey, but we're working on it. More and more people are asking for it.
Q1 from Nathan. I have a home hospital student who is nearing end of life. The family has refused both educational and SPED services. This student has been enrolled at one of our sites as temporarily not enrolled since the start of this year. We understand this is a delicate situation in a gray area. We asked our SELPA to weigh in and they said stick with what we were doing for now, but we wanted to check with CALPADS to see what our thoughts were with this enrollment data. Joe, any ideas on this one?
Parent refuse services, then that would be a parent withdrawal, wouldn't it be? For us as a SPED exit reason. And on a center record, that's, I mean, I guess 85 would work. I mean, whatever that exit temporary enroll, not enrolled rather.
Exit code for,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head, but yep.
Yeah, I think that's an ARIS code. So in terms of they do that so that they won't get they don't need to account for attendance. So I think that yeah. Nathan is
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Kyra.
Okay, question one from Karen. Has the SELA ODS extract changed layout? My file pulls my students, but a good amount of them have 2 extra fields after the language codes that are dates. That dates mean nothing to our records, not an entry or start date. Should I submit a ticket? Those dates have been there for as long as I can remember on the end. Those dates, you're right, they don't really read anything as far as what you need for SELA data, but they're, I believe the dates are the dates that the record was submitted to CALPADS. But if usually when you pull them, if you're putting them in the batch file templates, just leave those off. Those dates are not necessary. Question one from Andrew. When is end of year 1 opening? The end of April? It's on the
May.
calendar.
That doesn't preclude you from submitting data, right? But usually you have to wait for the end of the school year, like for your stats and discipline and whatnot. We don't start running the snapshot reports until May 8th. And we hope the data discrepancy functionality will be turned on prior so you could get insight into any possible errors ahead of time.
Okay, question one from Anna. As a district of residence assessment for an 8th grader attending private school outside of our LEA's boundary, which school, the private school group or the district enrollment school, should be used? Submitted a ticket 2 weeks ago and still haven't gotten a reply, so that's not good, but we may have missed that one. It's okay if you ask it here, especially if no one has replied to the ticket. We have, actually the CD has a good chart that if you go to communications tab, the CD's CalPADS communications tab, and you can go to, there's a spreadsheet that you can use that has all the different scenarios, tells you everything you need to know of how that student should be reported, whether private or at the district level.
That's correct, Gary. That's the SWD reporting scenario we have under the link.
Paul, do you have that handy? Okay.
I'm not seeing any ticket come up with your name on it.
I was just saying the same. So if you have a ticket number, Anna, if you could type it in chat.
Or if you sent it to an email address, let us know where you sent it to.
The ticket.
She's responded that she's reviewed all the cases and none are obviously applicable.
It's specifically the one with the private school scenario. And if we would have it on screen, we'd be glad to point you to that scenario. And that would be probably like, if you scroll down, Paul, that's probably around the, where's the private school? Oh, there. Probably either 14, scenario 14 or 15. And I believe yours would be 15. So the reporting LEA and DSEA for private school is going to be the district where the student, where the private school is located. Now, however, in your circumstance, if you look at the comment in both the scenarios there, it would actually tell you that, if the parent requests for an evaluation from the district of residence, and I believe that you guys are doing an offer of faith sometimes as well, right? With consultation with the reporting LEA. If there is an ISP, then you're not supposed to, the reporting LEA would be the other district where the private school is located, just to clarify.
Thanks, Joe. And she did put her ticket number in there.
And to add on to her question, or to clarify one of her question there, which school should be used? There's a private school group, right, that you'd be using, which is code 0002 as well.
Okay. But the ticket was submitted by Denise. That's why it didn't show up for Anna. Hey, question one from Mary. For distance learning facilitated independent study equals yes. Is it okay to use the local assignment option 44865, or do we need to use 8005B for independent study? Don't know answer to that.
Pasted something as a reply.
Oh, there it is right there underneath.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt. Hopefully that will help answer your question. Question one from Larnie. Can I get clarification on the resource teacher in the course records with state course code 9231? When we have a section where the majority is not sped, we do not tag the section with instructional strategy of 700. Instead, we have to report the teacher with a job classification of 27 and state course code 9231 to avoid an exception with CalSAS. My question is, how do they reconcile the resource teacher to the SPED student if we have multiple teachers and multiple SPED students within the reported organization with a course record of 9231, since the SCSE is not required for these records? Would it be okay to just send one course record with a state course 9231 for organization to cover all of our SPED students?
I think you're looking at it as from a different lens from the student perspective, but for fall 2, it's more towards the teachers who are assigned to classes, and if they are meeting those credentials, if they have the credentials to teach the specific state class with that state course code. So the students being who are not in that class is fine. That's the reason why we have the 27 and 9231 combination. So what's more important is that you're reporting your RSP teachers assigned to the 9231, and they have the credentials to be assigned to those classes. That's what fall 2 and assignment monitoring is doing with this setup. With regards to the students, fall 2 isn't really looking at your SPED students. It's more towards the teachers.
Awesome. Thanks, Karen. Question one from Carol. I created another mid because there were no returns because the existing SSID have a hyphen in the last name, and the student data we had did have a hyphen. Is there a plan to make this check more robust so that we have a chance of catching those? I think they are looking at
Yes,
future.
adding Elasticsearch to it. So I don't know what we're going to be treated better there, but it's going to be different than what's matching now. Last I heard from Glenn, he said they were getting close to launching it for testing.
Great. That was my question for. I thought we used. I think that put in the text for that. Audrey is responding, would adding a program exit date on the student program make this change? Program exit date? There shouldn't be well, there used to be a program, the 144 for special ed, but that shouldn't make any difference anymore. That's been a few years now. Question one from Eric. Hello, I have a warning message. The Cert 53 teacher staff assignment missing. The SSID, SED, local course section ID fields are all missing. I have certified my data, but this warning is hanging around. What else do I need to do to identify the teacher? I think there's a Cert 51 and a Cert 53 that are warnings. I've seen them come up for the district level. Normally, if you didn't have any pupil services or teacher staff assignments at a specific school site, you'll get this warning and it'll list the school. But I've seen a couple now where it's popped up for the district, and sometimes districts don't have pupil services or staff assignments at the district. So it's just a warning, you just ignore it. It's just informational kind of, are you sure you don't have any of these roles at that? Especially when it's not listing anything. Not sure if that's working actually 100% right, but it is a warning. Question. Hello, we need to correct a student course section. Will sending the one school with errors replace the records just in that one school site or all our schools? So the SESE records are by school and SSID. So you can send a school, it won't affect any of your other schools, and if it will only affect the students whose SSIDs are included in that file that you're uploading. Question 1 from Becky, wondering if any LEAs are experiencing issues with creating student assessment rosters via the SIS, rosters that submitted to ETS TOMS. Well, that's not a question for me. That's a question for any of the other LEAs out there, I guess. Question 1 from Elizabeth. For the issue with class size not showing properly, even when with only running it from one school, what do we do? Certify and cross our fingers that the data will show correctly when the fix is applied, or hold off? Oh, do we have an?
Guessing, Paul, if you could navigate to the report mapping guide for 3.1. There are some courses that are excluded from that report. And so, Elizabeth, I just want to make sure that the classes that you're expecting to be showing up are the ones that are counted correctly. So there's an excluded section. Oh, there you are. So independent study and no enrollment. So those are the two criteria. Those classes will not be counted on 3.1. If you still think your counts are incorrect in selecting, there is a bug too, Paul, but we had a workaround for it. If you go to the known issues, do a search for 3.1. There you go. It had more to do with the filter, which is Elizabeth alluding to. If you selected all schools, counts were off by onesie twosies at the schools, but if you selected the individual schools, they were counted correctly. So that's probably not going to get fixed for this fall. So that's why, Elizabeth, if you are doing it by individual school and your counts are still off, if you could put in a ticket and ask for me, Angela, I'd like to take a look at that.
Thanks, Angela. Question 1 from Javier. We have a couple teacher vacancies that were covered by day-to-day and long-term subs for a few weeks. Do we report that sub that was in the classroom on census day as the teacher of record or a school admin? So if there was no teacher of record, then you can report the subs. The sub has an SEID number. Question 1 from David. If a student changed gender from male to female this school year, should I update the student's gender in previous school years to female or keep previous years as male? So every year that student information just looks at the most recent records. So as long as that's updated and the student's reporting as they are their gender, now that's what should appear on all your reports. I guess if you own the student and can edit the files, I don't know if it would hurt anything if you went back to do that, but you wouldn't be required to, I don't believe. Question 1 from Medial. Hi all, I am curious as to how your districts are collecting birth country, birth state, date entered US, etc. from your families. We've been collecting that data at enrollment through IC OLR, but have just been informed by CDE through our federal monitoring program process that we are prohibited from collecting data via initial enrollment. Heard a little bit about that, but I'm not sure. So
it was Attorney General, right, that put out the statement that you can't ask for birth country on the enrollment. However, after the fact, through some other means, you can collect the data. It just can't be upon enrollment on your enrollment form.
And some folks did respond. Okay. Question 1 from Diana at 3:16. I certified my fall 2 at 9 o'clock this morning with my 3.1 report still showing duplicate numbers for my middle schools and high schools known issue 6500 because I don't know if it was going to be fixed on time. and I don't want to take any chances. I locked it in review yesterday at 10 o'clock. I noticed that known issue 6500 was fixed. This is the only report that was showing duplicate numbers. My aggregate reports are correct. Do I need to decertify, wait for a new snapshot, and then recertify to see if my 3.1 was actually fixed?
Check your revised and certified copies. So even if you locked it or certified it, we're still creating new revisions for you. So you'll have a newer one, probably with today's date. And if necessary, if you like the newer one better, you'll have to decertify and then reapprove the new revision.
And Elizabeth has also a question about the 3.1, which we talked about. Question 1 from Shelley. I was able to certify on March 2nd. However, today we discovered that there was an assistant principal that did not get reported. I sent up a new SDEM and SAS files today, but I'm worried that I might, I'm sorry, the screen just hopped up on me. Fortunate that when that happens, oh, it went up like 3 pages. I sent up a new SDEM and SAS files today, but I'm worried that I might end up with other fatal errors and I might not be able to recertify in time. What consequences would we have if we do not report an assistant principal at one school? I'm not sure of the consequences for not reporting an assistant principal, but what I would do is if you put the data in, is take a look, as like what Angela said before, look at your revised uncertified. And if you have a new revision that's after the fact of adding that assistant's principal information, and there's no fatal errors, and you can review the reports and they all look good, then you could really quickly LAA disapprove your approved version and go right into that revised and certified version and approve that one. And that way you don't take any chance of getting a bunch of errors. But if you look at your revised and certified version and there's a million errors, maybe don't do that. But that's an avenue, because the revised, if you make any changes, you're always going to get a new revised version, and you can always go and look at that. So that's like 2 separate versions that you can compare. And if the revised one looks good, then decertify and recertify that one. You can do it within 5 minutes of each other. Amy has a Q2, and we'll come back to that one. Denise has a Q1. Hello, we are trying to make a few changes in online maintenance for some of our courses and continue to get an error screen and something went wrong. I know this is a known issue, but I'm wondering if a fix is expected to be implemented today. I know one of our top-notch developer guys is working on it. I'm not sure how far he has gotten. I'm not sure if anyone else has heard either.
I thought it was tested.
It's in testing. So I'm hoping before 5 o'clock.
Yes, and it's very annoying because we get it too. I mean, I've been getting it all day myself, trying to help you guys on tickets. Okay, here's a new Q1 from Maria. I have 3 students with this warning. Cert 81. The students do not attend our district. We're the district of residence only, and they are attending SCOE, I guess, Sacramento County Office of Ed. Should I be concerned? Not familiar with that. Okay, yeah, it's just informational. So if it doesn't pertain to these students, then you should be fine.
And it's about kids that are secondarily or short-term enrolled. And so typically, though, if you have them as a second enrolled as a secondary enrollment, usually you have them in courses. So it is a warning, but you might want to think about in the future reporting those kids enrolled too.
I think Amy has the only Q2 of the day. So let's go back and if I can find it. So from Amy, is post-secondary outcome for students with disabilities reported from SEIS or Cirrus directly to CALPADS? At 3:23. So the post-secondary stuff comes from your local student information system.
For end of year, it's end of year 4, it's from your special ed.
Yep. Thanks,
Yeah,
Karen.
I put a link on the.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I've really got to start looking below the questions. You guys are answering them. Thanks, Karen. And she had a Q3 at 328. I verified that this did not occur, but if it had, the system CALPADS would flag us about it, right? If we enrolled a student with no IEP to a 2-year TK program, meaning right now they are TK and next year will be a KN. If their 5th birth date was before December 2nd with no IEP, sentence kind of just ends. Fortunately, our student in question did have an IEP, so I'm relieved there was no mistake on enrolling him to our TK class this year. I'm not sure what the question is.
So maybe I can break it down and just what it will do. If the student was known to be students with disability and enrolled previously, then the system would let you know that you have a student currently enrolled that is a student with disability of a previous enrollment. But just because they're TK, we don't know that they're supposed to be a student with disability. So it's not gonna, not all students in TK are students with disabilities. Is that where she was headed, you guys?
Sounds good.
Or is your concern about what age they are and the grade level that they're in? Because I think there will be something that once they turn 5, I don't know if you can still be in grade level TK. I don't know if we've finished getting all of those business rules together on grade TK yet. So maybe too early, Amy. If that didn't answer your question, maybe you want to pose it differently to us.
At 335, Ray has a question. We have a misassignment for a staff member. Can we do a manual delete and add a new SAS record via online maintenance without having to upload a whole new or with all the staff? Sure, you should be able to do that. Okay. That was already asked. 336, Mary has a question. I was asked recently about reporting of CTE course completions that are dual credit courses, and that these courses can only count on the dashboard for one of these 2 reporting categories. I'm wondering if anyone knows if this is true, and if so, is the dashboard decision or is it a limitation of reporting?
The dual credit, which is a non-instructional strategy, 23 and 24 or 24 and 25,
Yeah.
that can only
Yes.
be used on CTE course to say that they're CTE and you can get college credit. The regular kind of courses, you have to use the 8 codes that are specific to, it says in there, college credit for math, college credit for science. So I don't know, Mary.
Yes.
That these courses can only count on the dashboard for one of those 2 categories. In the dashboard, they have a technical guide. And when it gets published for this upcoming year, it will break it down that I think a course can't be counted for multiple things. And maybe that's where you're going with this.
She added Brandy's comment that they can't report for both.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a hierarchy that they uses. I could probably try to find.
The
Check on the-
2019 may have
Yeah.
something in there that states that, but the 2022, I don't think for CCI has been published yet. I think they said the end, well, it was going to be the end of February, so maybe it's out now. You know where to find that, Paul? If you type in your search on CD's website, type in dashboard. You go to their main page.
I put it on the chat.
I don't think the toolkit is where we wanted to go. It's their main page. So it might have been the second item on the
That
search.
one,
Yeah.
little box.
And if you scroll down under dashboard resources,
Yeah, there it is.
click on that.
There
That
you go.
box right there, the third tab at the top, technical information, gets you to the dashboard, technical guide.
Shows 2022 dashboard technical guide is your.
But they were going to have a separate document for somewhere.
Let's see.
Take a look. It's not there. It'll be there soon.
Okay. Boy, get questions. Every time a comment is made to an existing question, it reposts it into chat windows. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Martha. 336. Once we see that a fix has been implemented on the known issues list, how long do we have to wait to see that fix reflected in our reports? For example, for the fix implemented today, do we wait overnight for a snapshot date dated 3/18 in the afternoon or something else? Every hour counts this close to the deadline. That's true. A lot of times if the fixes were implemented because of a patch or something that went in, once the new revision is finished, it should be reflected that same day. But for sure, overnight, because you'll keep getting revisions, you should be good. But it's possible it would be the same day as the fix was implemented.
Yeah, I typically don't update the ones that require a new revision as fix implemented until those folks that need one have gotten a new revision. So yeah, you should be able to see those changes after as soon as it says fix implemented.
Awesome. So Amy's following up with her question, will the system flag age inappropriate for a grade level when the student has no IEP? For a TK student?
Again, I don't know if we finished writing all of the business rules for TK, but typically age appropriate has nothing to do if they have an IEP or not. Things are changing with making TK an actual grade level, so there's going to be different business rules.
$339, Evan has a comment. It cannot double dip, only get credit for one. A course cannot be both CTE completer and a college credit course.
Thank you.
$340 is where Kyron posted that dashboard link. Was there, and it scrolled up. 344 Q1 from Charlene. Is there a way to identify students with disabilities in batch when requesting SSID? We used to rely on the Y on the last field while importing SSID, but with the use of the SSID matching tool, we have to check each match SSID manually for SWD. On the extract?
Actually, you're using it. So the SSID match is just to see if there are potential existing SSIDs for the students. Once you make those matches and pick those selections, you need to request an SSID extract after that. That way whatever SSID was picked, it would contain all of the essential attributes for the SSID that you pick. So this it's actually not a replacement. The SSID match is not a replacement. It's just an additional process to filter out any potential SSIDs that might cause mids for you guys. So start with the SSID match. Once you've determined that and uploaded a better SSID list, enrollment list to CALPADS, then request an SSID extract and you should get your SWD information.
Thanks, Karen. I'll start today. Javier has a question too. Should we be reporting any preschool staff students at all? No, not for fall 2. Barney with another long question too. Piggybacking on Anna Fang, it is my understanding that all private school students will be enrolled or will have their SSID requested from private school. The only time that we are going to enroll or request SSID for private school student attendees from the district level is when there is a court order. However, now that we are hearing that when a SPED private student attendee is being assessed for services, the enrollment and SSID request will be under district level effective parent's signature. When the ISP is approved and accepted, then we will exit the distant enrollment and enroll private school 002 with the ISP plan. Is this scenario on the spreadsheet? We came across the issue with this when the district level status was 10 effective on October 3rd, and the ISP in the private school is not yet accepted. From fall 2, CALPADS is expecting courses for the district enrollment that is prior to CBEDS. Can we use the district level as a placeholder enrollment for private school?
So, quick answer. There's no quick answer. The scenario that we actually pointed out earlier to Anna Fang's question was regarding the submission of private school and assuming that the private school record is actually an ISP. I think further clarified by Michelle, which is correct, that if you're doing an offer of FAPE, which is different, right? You're offering, the public school or the district is offering FAPE, and to Anna Fang's scenario, and I reviewed the ticket actually, I found out that that is an initial evaluation or initial assessment for offer of FAPE at the LEA, even though the student was actually attending private school. For that matter, then Michelle is correct. The 317 mark, I believe, or 322 mark, that that assessment is actually being conducted by the LEA or the public school for the offer of FAPE. So that's an initial assessment, then has to be at the district level. That's distinct or opposed to when the student is on an ISP or transferring to a public school, to a private school, where the IEP is being assessed or being adopted or is in transition to another ISP plan, right? Which is the equitable provision for services. That is the reporting of the private school at the new code, or reporting it at the private school where the student or where the district, the private school is located at that district. So
Awesome.
yeah, going back to Denise's ticket, we'll respond accordingly. I do apologize that I think we had an oversight there. But rest assured, we'll respond to that ticket in a more comprehensive manner.
Thanks, Joe. And for anyone that's new on this call, I didn't really introduce Joe. Joe is from the CDE's SPED office. So he is our local expert on SPED stuff. Question 1, Nancy, if TK is a separate grade level and the 23 dashboard is comparing to the prior year, will the chronic absenteeism and suspension rate indicators include TK? Because prior year, will not be able to parse out TK from K.
I don't think we know the answer to that yet, Nancy. That's accountability and how they're going to figure things out.
Question 1 from Uli. If a course section does not have a local assignment option populated if needed, what will that affect? It is only used for CalSAS. Is it only used for CalSAS exceptions?
As far as I know, doesn't have any other use.
Okay. Mary Masters, Q2, Q1 continued. We know that we can code CTE courses as dual credit. How do we know which one will report on the dashboard? Not sure if, I think other than looking at the technical guide. Yeah.
I don't know if you've left that page or you still have it. When I looked, I think on the resource page, there was a hyperlink to the college career readiness. And so there's a lot of different things on that, in addition to the actual technical guide. So take a look at that site, Mary, and see what you can find. And if you still have more questions, come back next week. Or send us a ticket, either or.
Question 1 from Elsa. Been trying all afternoon to get the 3.1 reports to render. I've had one running for most of this Q&A for one school and the small alternate school on campus. It still hasn't rendered. I have 16 high schools. Is there any other way to get this report? Do we have an extract for the 3.1? Supporting extracts. No, there's 3.3.
That's your detail.
I would say
Let's see.
after about 10 minutes, it's timed out. It just doesn't have an elegant way to tell you. So rather than just let your blood pressure spike, just close out. I've had luck, Elsa, making sure I'm on the latest version of whatever browser I'm using. So, and then sometimes if I just close out and come back in and try again, it'll render. I'll get the same as you, it just the spinny wheel, and then I'll close out browser and come back in and try again. And I just ran one for Elizabeth. She had asked a question on that report earlier, and it took about, I don't know, less than a minute to come up, although she's just a small charter school.
Okay. If you're trying to do the whole district, maybe do try try one school to start, and if that works, maybe add another one. That's usually what I do when I run into this issue. It is 3:53, and I'm at the bottom of the questions. Any more questions? If not, we'll call it a day, and we'll be back again next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Thanks, everyone.